Welcome to this video. This is going to show you how to put together your table. This is the American flag coffee table we offer. It comes in 5 major parts: the top rail, the bottom rail, the shelf, the legs, and then I guess a separate part would be the nuts and bolts. We'll get into that in here in a second, give you a little better view. The first thing you need to do when you get your piece is check all the parts for any damage in shipping. If there's any issue, please let us know right away so we can get started on fixing that issue for you. One of the main parts you need to look for are these metal studs on the legs. If those studs are not there, this system won't work unless you get a clamp of some sort, but that's not how it's designed to work. So if those are missing, please let us know right away. And in your parts bag, there's going to be a couple different screws here. These are your rail screws, and these are your tabletop screws. These are your tabletop washers, and these little guys are your set screws. A little Allen wrench is also provided to help assemble. The only thing you will need to provide is a Phillips head screwdriver and maybe glue, if that's what you choose to do. Alright, so once you're ready to start assembling your table, you need to find a nice soft surface, somewhere where you can lay all your parts and it won't scratch the wood. You could use a rug, a dog bed, your bed, couch, blanket, whatever you got, just something that won't scratch the wood. Something that I would suggest doing if you don't want to do any maintenance on this coffee table is add a little wood glue to these pins as you are putting them in. Otherwise, what you're going to have to do is every once in a while go underneath and tighten these set screws that I'm going to show you how to put in. If you add wood glue, it will not be able to be broken down, but I don't think that's a big deal. Most people don't break down coffee tables regularly. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is grab your shelf and slide it in one of the rails on the legs. It doesn't matter which leg, just slide the short end into that groove. Once that's in the groove and it's fully seated, you're going to go ahead and grab one of your lower rails. You can tell the difference between the rails because on the lower there's a groove cut out for this versus the top rail where there's no groove. So you're going to take your lower rail, you're going to line up the pin with the hole that is in the rail. While you're lining that up, you are going to simultaneously get the shelf in the lower rail's groove. Alright, you can pause it. And once you have the first lower rail on, go ahead and go to the other side and get the other lower rail in. Then once you got your lower rails on and your shelf in, we're going to go ahead and put the top rails on. For the top rails, you want to make sure that the little indents, the holes on the top, are facing inboard, so they're facing each other. And then also making sure this pin goes directly in the hole. Alright, now that we got all of our rails and our shelf in, we're going to go ahead and attach the second leg assembly, however you want to say it. As you're doing this, you are lining up all the 4 pins with all 4 holes on the leg. So give me a nice little tap, and there you go. Now that we got all 4 rails connected, we are going to go ahead and put in the set screws. They are these tiny little screws that have the Allen key to tighten them down. So you're going to insert them into these little holes right here. You're just going to put it in there and screw it down. Now we're going to go ahead and do that for every end of the rails, top and bottom. Alright, now that we have all the set screws in and the coffee table base fully assembled, we're going to move on to attaching the tabletop. And the way you attach the tabletop is you get the tabletop washers and the rail screws, and you screw them into the rails on top. On all the rails there's these holes already drilled out with a hole in the center for the screw. So the way I like to do it is I just put the screw in the washer and put it in the hole and screw it down. I call these tabletop screws. I think I just called them two different things. Alright, now that we got the whole base done, we're going to go ahead and attach it to the top and be finished. So what you're going to want to do is have your top laid face down. You'll see on the underside there are some pre-drilled holes. These pre-drilled holes are going to line up with the washers that we just put in on the base. The easiest way to do that is just take your base, flip it upside down, and line it up as best as you can. Now that we have the washers lined up with the pre-drilled holes, we're going to go ahead and insert the tabletop screws into those holes and just tighten them down. Alright, and that's it, we're done. We got a fully assembled coffee table. If there's anything that you didn't quite understand, like my Wisconsin accent, anything, feel free to leave a comment down below. You could email us. We'll have our emails in the description down below. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to us and we will assist you to our best capabilities. I hope you enjoy this for the rest of your life and hopefully you can pass it down to your children. And I'd like to say thank you so much for purchasing from us, and if there's anything we can do to make your experience better, please let us know. Bye.